I wasn't planning on coming on the show tonight. I actually have plans and I got a jet, so I'm going to be only on for this beginning part. But I got a message from a listener of the show, and he was concerned because his son was being bullied at school. And you guys all know that my job, I work as a school administrator, and I see that ugly side of bullying when it goes too far. And unfortunately, over the years, I've had to deal with the depression and the feelings of insecurity and all the stuff that comes from bullying. And it hit me really hard. It's like this kid's 6 years old, and he's getting bullied at school, and his dad's like, it would mean a lot to him if you talk to him. So I was at work, and I was dealing with a bullying case at work, and I put myself in that mindset, and I wrote him a letter. So I wanted to read the letter to him, and I feel like every time I start to talk about this, I realize that I got all emotional about it, and it really, with some introspection, I realized that shit, I'm still not over that stuff. Like it really affected me from when I was little. So I want this message, this letter is for you, Caden. And so I'm going to jump in there and I'm going to read it. So Caden, let's see. I'm writing you to let you know that what is happening to you is not okay. Bullying is not okay. Your dad reached out to me because he loves you and he wants you to be strong and happy. He is proud of the kid you have become, how thoughtful, kind, and what a great imagination you have. He asked me to talk to you, and I can't think of a more important topic for this podcast. So here it goes. The first thing you need to realize is that it isn't your fault, that it's going to be okay and things will get better. Over the years, I've learned that often people bully others because they are having a hard time themselves. Knowing that doesn't make it better, but it does tell you that there's a way for things to get better. It tells you that they're a kid like you, but you are stronger. So Caden, I was bullied as a kid. I was about the same age as you are now. It was super hard on me. It felt like nothing was gonna make it stop, but it did stop. It took me talking to my mom and a teacher I trusted at school to make things better. We confronted the bully together. It wasn't easy, but having them there with me gave me the strength. Strangely, that bully and I became friends. We both had divorced parents and siblings that had moved away. We became brothers at school. We were both hurting and dealing with it in very different ways. So what can I do? What can you do? Well, my best advice is not to try to hurt the person back. That can make things much worse. I want you to walk away. I want you to stay strong and stay calm. Breathe. Take a few deep breaths and count to 10. Then go tell someone. Talk to your dad, a teacher, or a school counselor. You do not have to deal with this alone. Unfortunately, as a school principal, I have to deal with bullies all too often. I tell the kids I work with not to worry. The bully may seem tough right now, but I'm tougher and I have your back. Stay strong, Caden. Just like Zavala or Ikora, your dad will always be there for you to help you get stronger and stronger. Listen to him, and then one day, when you are ready, you will be there to save the world together. So, anyway.
That's powerful.
That is great.
I got questions.
Powerful, man.
As a school administrator, you do see this stuff all the time, right? Like, and specifically, like, turning the other cheek and going and telling a parent or a guardian or a principal, like a officer of the school, like, is a great first step. What would be the second step? Like, if there's a reprisal for doing that, like, what would be the second step?
So I've learned that violence is never, ever going to come out with the answer that you want. Even if it feels good, it's a visceral reaction that often has negative consequences. I feel like parents often tell their kids, defend yourself, and you should. You really should. but there's a difference between defending yourself and becoming just like them. And it's not how we as adults, as parents, we teach our children to solve problems. It's not how often when we try to deal with stuff through violence, unintended, very bad consequences have happened. And I've often had to deal with kids who got into a fight and it got much worse and someone ended up in the hospital and there was really bad consequences from it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when kids, you don't want your kid to be in that position. And so defend yourself, yes. But there's a big difference between backed into a corner and having no choice and being able to walk away. And it's a hell of a lot stronger. I have much more respect for kids that can walk away and can go talk to an adult. And as an administrator, I don't know there's an administrator out there. I've lost. So, Dan, just go ahead and turn, your son, maybe switch off from the rest of this conversation. He's 6. So, so I've had, I've lost students and it's not okay. It's something that never goes away. So, and it starts with just a bully, and then it goes somewhere else, and so violence never solves any of this. And then they learn to harm others or harm themselves. And they think their only way out of it is to harm themselves. And, I just can't not picture.
Is there any proactive things that somebody could do if they find themselves being bullied? Like they've talked to their parents, they've talked to administrators. Maybe they don't have a ton of friends at school. Like, is there like some kind of proactive thing they could do?
There is a bunch of resources. Even if you don't feel like you can connect with anybody, there is a bunch of anonymous resources online, help centers. Google it, just type in, and some people you can talk to confidentially that you could get advice from. Like myself, people that are absolute, like ton of experience in it and can help you walk through the next few steps. The main thing that a kid needs to realize is that they're not alone. They just need to raise their voice and it will be magnified by those adults around them that love them. And it will be made into a roar and it's deafening. I don't know a single administrator or person who works with kids that will take it lightly. And it's just too serious nowadays. It's just way too serious.
About joining like clubs and stuff at school. Like I know a lot of people like their reaction is to retreat because like they don't have a friend group to share this with. But what about like joining clubs at school with maybe, maybe your school has a video game club or a chess club or an AV club that you could go join and kind of find people who share similar interests with you.
That's insanely good advice. Being involved in social organizations helps often students have the strength to find a voice. And like my school has over 100 different clubs and social groups that all meet, like the meat club, they just get together and grill meat, but it's a part of
dope club.
Sign me up.
There's like the ice cream club, but they don't care. It's about getting together, and it's just like video games for us as now. I mean, it's a social place where we get together and meet friends and hang out and not feel alone. So I think there is a lot of truth to that. Getting your kid involved in a sport or after school activity or, something where they have a social interaction. And that can be very, very helpful, especially if it's at school with other students, because then they look forward to seeing their friends, or it's much harder to bully somebody that's in with a group of kids, that's with a group of others and that are friends.
Mm-hmm. I see a lot of little kids, right? Because I train in Muay Thai martial arts, and I see this, they have little grapplers, right? Where these kids learn martial arts, and it's not because they want to learn how to defend themselves and that violence is an answer, but when they start children off, like my girlfriend's son, he's been doing karate for a while now. It gives them this self-confidence that they have at a real early age, that it's not that they're going to use it against someone. Like, you learn martial arts so that you never have to use it, but it just gives you kind of this air about you that you have confidence, and that, well, one is you'll meet other people because you have a common interest. You have other people and we're all into this. Second thing is, a bully is probably not about to mess with someone if they know what they know in terms of self-defense. But I think it's more from a mental confidence, discipline, things like that. But I see these little kids. It's called Little Grapplers. It is the class, and it's adorable. It's these little 6-7-year-old kids. They all have their gis on, and the parents are there. And it's I've seen a lot of benefits from training in martial arts for little kids at an early age, for sure.
I think you're 100% right. There's a lot of kids at my school that are involved in after school, like boxing programs and karate. I think it gives them a sense of control, that they know what their body is capable of doing, and that if they need to, they can defend themselves. It's a choice.
A lot of it's about discipline too, right? It's like they teach a lot of discipline in those classes, and
So I appreciate it. I apologize to just drop a bomb and run, but it's something that I feel like I needed to cover. I didn't realize I was writing him just a DM, and I realized that it was this podcast is a lot of cathartic experience for me too. It's so selfishly I needed to get on and talk about it, but I also hope that dads like Dan and his son Caden, maybe there's others out there that are not sure what their next steps are, and they don't know how. They feel powerless because their child is at school, or they themselves are at school and feel powerless. And none of this gets resolved unless we talk about it.
Yeah.
And so hit us up in DMs if you want to ask for more resources. I'm happy to help. But like I said, I have to jump off. I wanted to I have to go do some family stuff, but you guys I'm leaving you in great hands. MesaSean, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for sharing that, Pope, man. That was powerful, dude.